the first name, you fuck.
What did he say?
Terry McBean. Well, statistically, it's actually better for a player to go straight down the middle than to pick a side.
Slots come in and done a really good job, to be honest. So
Yeah, if Liverpool go on and win the league, Jurgen Klopp is a...
This was not meant to happen. This could not happen. This is happening.
Good to be back. It is good to be back. We're finally back with an episode of The Coach's Son. No interview today, but we've got plenty lined up. Still more to come. We've got some familiar faces back on the podcast. One's been away for 2 weeks, but the other one, he's been away for about 3 years.
Yes. Oh, yeah, 3 years. You've missed me, haven't you?
You kick us off, mate. You were gone for a long time. Where'd you go?
Introduce yourself.
So good to be back. Yeah, nice to meet you. I'm Stephen. I come from North London.
Nice.
I went on a little bit of a honeymoon, guys. I was away in Europe for a little bit, so it was good fun. What do you reckon my favourite? I should tell you where I went. Bit of Greece, bit of Italy, Paris, London, Munich. What do you reckon my favourite spot was? What do you reckon?
Greece, obviously.
Munich.
Oh, fucking obviously. But what about fucking Tottenham Hotspur, man?
A big game you went to too, huh?
Two games.
2 games. Saw a European match. Yes, under the lights.
Under the lights.
Adam, how many games have you seen?
Still none. Still none.
So at least...
While we do this, I can't travel.
Yeah.
Touch shit.
If you stop going overseas too, or you keep picking the wrong countries to go to.
I know.
Because someone else was overseas as well.
I was. Konnichiwa. Just came back from Japan.
Is that all you learned?
Yeah. Honestly, I was doing Duolingo on the plane. That's how late I left it. No, Japan's a very, very, very good country. It was a great trip. Went with my brother. Yeah, it was a good time. A couple of weeks. Japan's very interesting. It's advanced and there's a whole lot going on. Not too much of a football culture, though, I must say, or not. Or maybe that I didn't see. Very big on their basketball and NFL there, actually.
But you were walking past, there was the 5-a-side court or something? You took a photo
I did, I saw that. Yeah, I did say that. But there was one of those ones that 5-a-side court turned into a basketball court. Badminton, pickleball, whatever you want, mate. It's everything. So, yeah, that was probably the only thing that I'd seen. But, no, great country.
And where's your jersey from? That's new.
This one?
That looks new.
I think it was a gift from my mother.
That's nice.
Yeah, definitely not from Japan. Definitely not from Japan.
We've got the casual vibe today because we haven't got the interviews today, but we've got plenty of questions still. It might not be an interview style, but it's plenty of questions. So for the last week and a half, 2 weeks, we've thrown out to our fans to give us some questions. I'll be taking them down. We've got quite a few. We're inundated with thousands of questions. We've picked the best ones. I tell you, there's a variety of them, which I'm sure is going to spark a lot of controversy.
Yeah, we've got some unique fans, don't we? Unique fans, we have.
Got some unique fans. Yeah. So look, I'll start off with this one from Paul. Paul would like to know when's Peter back on the pod?
That's a great question. Can I phone a friend?
Yeah, phone Peter. Never. Let me tell you, never.
I blocked his number long time ago.
He's never come back on the pod unless I don't know. Maybe as a special guest appearance if we're struggling for.
We're all right. I think
very struggling.
If he wants to get
absolutely no one else, very struggling a lot. Then we'll get someone else.
Paul, if you miss him, go back, watch episodes 1, 2, or 3, and you'll be happy.
Yeah, a lot of content with Peter. A lot of content.
We've got one here from Terry, and it is it's an FPL question. So Terry would like to know what's more impressive: back-to-back mini league wins, or going a whole season without Haaland and Salah and coming mid-table in the FPL?
That's a good question. I don't know who this Terry bloke is. In his mini league, he must not have any I'm assuming he's gone back to back. I don't know.
I can't tell you. The question doesn't say whether he has. He just asked.
It depends who's
if
in
it's
his
better.
comp. It really depends who's in his comp.
Mm.
Like, if he's going back to back against some duds, sure. Like, what's the point? If he's in our comp, forget it. He's not going back to back at all.
It does sound a bit nervous in the second part of the question, to be honest. Mid-table's gotten written Terry all over it, to be honest.
I mean, yeah, going back to back in the mini league or going mid-table without having Haaland and Salah. And look, I'll be honest with you. I think, coming mid-table without Haaland or Salah in your team, I think is very impressive. And if someone was to win their mini league without Haaland and Salah as well, they're just a superstar. They're just too good at the game, obviously. And I think even more importantly, if you have Haaland and Salah in your team, and you're not at least in the top 10 at least, you can pretty much write yourself off as garbage. Am I right?
Can I just say a quick little stat on this one? Mentioned Haaland in the question. He was the most transferred player out this week for nearly 300,000 people kicking him out of the squad.
Understandably so. I mean, what's he done?
It's
he's still worth 15 mil?
15 mil? I think I saw another stat because, we love stats. I love stats. It was, I think he's had 14 shots on target, 2 goals, where you've got someone half the price, even, cheaper, Chris Wood. I think he's had 8 shots on target and he scored 7 goals, I think. So,
last now, what's his score? 5 on the weekend.
And if I remember clearly, I think so, yeah. And I remember clearly, Steve, maybe back in the day when we did our table rankings, you had Forrest quite high, Steve.
Oh, yeah, I wouldn't say 14th is high, but you guys had him down there.
I think I had relegation.
Yeah, pretty much. I'm a big player.
Still plenty of time to...
If you look at their draw, they did have a lot of games, easy games early on. It's this middle part where they might
still got to win them.
So... That's
right. There's no easy games in the Premier League as
they've had some impressive wins. Did they beat Liverpool?
On the weekend.
Liverpool?
Forest?
No, on the weekend.
Oh, Forest, yeah. Only team to beat us.
I think, wasn't it?
Yeah, only team to beat us this season.
Big team.
Bravo, big team.
Mm.
Well, we've got to go into another question here. So I've got one from Andrew. So Andrew has told us he's just recently gone to Malaysia for a football tournament. So he goes... after going to Malaysia for the tournament, they've implemented a 9v9 in the first half of extra time and then a 7v7 in the second half to avoid penalties. What do you guys think of this model? And I'm going to extend that question to go, do you think penalties is the best way to decide a game?
Well, wait, what happened after the 15 minutes? Did they go to penalties anyway?
No, they must keep on knocking off players.
Over 15 minutes.
So they're going to a 9v9, then to a 7v7. Well, unless they keep on playing with 7v7. But do you think that model of dropping players in extra time is a better way to decide a game than penalties?
I don't like it.
I think it's going to heavily depend on fitness of players, right? Even when you get to that point of the game, everyone's a bit gassed out. I think 7v7 on a pitch is probably going to be a bit sloppy. But I think personally, even from past trauma, penalty shootouts, no bueno, to be honest. And even if I dislike both teams, I think it's just an ugly way for someone to lose a game.
What else would you rather do?
You got to get a result somehow.
How else would you rather do?
I'd stick with the 7v7 if I was going to. With anything.
7v7.
I think honestly, it doesn't sound like a bad idea. Maybe I wouldn't drop that far low. I'd go max maybe a 9v9 or something. I think 7v7's pushing it a little bit. I think. But yeah, I'd go for it over penalties, to be honest.
Well,
I think so.
I'd rather penalties than drop players.
Mm.
But then again, I think I don't want another rule implemented into the game. I think there's already too much going on at the moment.
I think I like the penalties because in order to win a game, you have to score a goal.
Mm.
And with penalties, it's either you score or don't score.
Yeah.
There's nothing else in between it. And in order to obviously decide the game, you could go to the old MLS, and in America they used to have the one-on-one from halfway.
The longest thing in the world.
I don't hate it. I don't hate it, to be honest with
It's
you.
probably more entertaining than penalties.
It was wild, but to think,
And it probably requires more skill than just a penalty.
So funny how many times the keeper saved it, but honestly, there was some bad attempts. People would panic right before they'd get towards the goalkeeper.
I think that they must have like a time limit because you can't just stand there and try and go one-on-one with the keeper and go left and right, and then try to tap it in. There must be a time limit. But look, I think, I don't like the dropping of the numbers because I believe that obviously football is an 11 game unless obviously you're running out of subs, you get injuries, or then you got red cards. And I don't like the fact that obviously players will be then running ragged, and then it becomes a battle of fitness rather than football. And to me, I see football as scoring goals. So I think it'd become more, like I said, more a battle of fitness, and whoever's a fitter team, rather than who can actually hold their nerve and score a goal to win the game.
What about that other penalty system where instead of first team goes and second team, ABBA? What do you prefer?
I don't mind the ABBA. I think
have you ever seen it? Have you seen it?
Wait, clarify this. The ABBA.
So it goes team A will shoot first, team B will shoot second, and then B will shoot third, and then A will go again. So rather than one and one and one and one,
one always going first. It's all like alternating.
So the pressure isn't essentially like, you've going first and then the other person goes second. It's alternating who essentially is going first or going second.
Because they say whoever goes first has the upper hand, but I'd love to see the stats on that. Adam, that's some homework for you, mate.
Yeah, next week. Go back to that MLS way back in the day. What's your plan of action if you're running towards a goalkeeper? Are you going around him or are you chipping over the top?
Not rainbow flick over.
No,
all three of our knees would just give way.
Yeah, got to go on the knees first, number one. Number two, you have to just try and slot it past him. You can't try and do something stupid.
Or shoot from halfway because we'll be gassed by the time we get there.
Because even statistically, even with penalties, statistically, it's actually better for a player to go straight down the middle than to pick a side. Because a goalkeeper, more often, majority of the time, is always going to pick a side because they don't want to be standing there in the middle of the goal. So statistically, it's actually safer to go straight up the middle.
Feel like Vinny Jr. Did his go down the middle today? Did anyone see?
Bottom left. I think it's bottom left. I think he did bottom left.
So, good question. But I hope that answers your question, Andrew. We've got one here from Peter. Do you miss the real coach's son? No. Again, no. Have you has your phone been ringing for you to come back? I don't think so.
To be fair, he's actually getting a lot of airtime in this episode. I like it one bit. It's like he's here.
Yeah, I feel like he's got all his mates together and they've just gone, hey, you have to ask him all these questions.
Yeah.
And somehow made the final cut.
He's trying to bring you back. No, you're not coming back. Forget about it.
I'm going to put a vote on our socials. We'll see if we want to bring him back or not. Special guest appearance.
Should we bring Peter back? No or definitely no?
No in red.
Well, there's your answer, Peter. No, we don't miss you. I'm the coach's son. We've got another one. We've got one here from Michael. It's a bit out there. He would like to know, is Elvis still alive?
Oh, that's a good question. Is that a football-related question?
I don't know if it's football-related, but it's a good question because there has been a lot of sightings of Elvis around the place.
What, recently or?
Yeah, pretty recently. I mean, they could be just imposters, but people are saying that it's the real Elvis.
If you were going to compare one football presence to Elvis, who would you compare him to?
Oh, good question. We've just moved on from your question, Michael, and we've gone to a better question.
I mean, I've got to make it somewhat football-related. Somewhat.
Who would you compare Elvis to? The king of rock, they call him?
Rock and roll.
I'll go first. I'm going to go Ancelotti. Calm, collected, on the sideline. Just a cool guy. I think back in the day he was a stud.
I was going to go complete opposite. I was going to go the king, Diego Armando Maradona.
Wow. Big presents, both of them. Take it.
I'm leaning towards someone that was in the a little less conversation, a little more action, please. Commercials. Considering that was an Elvis song, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
But my mind is going because that's one thing I might be going like to Luis Figo.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
So I'll toss up between Figo because the hair as well, or maybe Zinedine Zidane, not because of the hair, because he was rock and roll.
Are you sure?
Worst answer ever.
Why is it the worst answer?
You got to have somewhat of comparison. Tell me what
do you
about
mean,
him?
Luis Figo? He was rock and roll.
No.
He had the moves. He was going in. He was going right. He was in the commercial. Less conversation.
Figo's
and he's
fine.
got the
But
hair.
Zidane, tell me.
Zidane's a player, rock and roll, baby. What do you mean?
Another poll. Put it up there.
Another
what do you
poll.
think?
Yeah.
We're going to get down to two members.
Who's your
of
Elvis Presley or
Diego?
football? No, put it to the fans. Who's your Elvis Presley or football?
Love that. King of football.
We've got an interesting one here from Paul.
This got to be Paul podcast. Paul Pogba.
Paul podcast.
Go.
Would you rather fight?
Here we go.
Would you rather fight 20 chicken-sized Sergio Ramoses? Get it out. So 20 chicken-sized Sergio Ramoses or one Sergio Ramos-sized chicken. It's football related.
It's got to be 20 Sergio Ramoses.
Why?
That's a nightmare. That's a nightmare.
Why?
The man, you've just got red card written all over it. It's just dirty.
But who would you rather fight? Would you rather fight 20 chicken-sized Sergio Ramoses?
Yeah, 20 chicken-sized.
Or one Sergio Ramos-sized chicken?
No, 20 chickens, for sure.
I think any animal that's over the size of 1 meter is scary as it is.
That's
so I'll
true,
take the 20 size.
20
chickens.
chicken-sized
20
Sergio
chickens.
Ramoses. Well, what's your method there? How are you going to fight them off?
Just absolutely kick the shit out of them. Just like he would. That's what I'll be doing.
Just imagine 20 little Sergio Ramoses just running up to you. Who are these people we get as followers? Honestly, I don't know. Asking us these questions.
Yeah,
what would I do?
You have to block them.
I mean, yeah, I'd probably have to go to 20 chicken-sized Sergio Ramoses too.
Are you sure?
It's chaos. It's chaos.
Well,
You're tall. You'll be taller than Sergio Ramos, so you'll still be taller than his
chicken.
You'll be taller than him. What's your wingspan?
Yeah, but the point.
And how big's your pecker?
Imagine that chicken-sized drumstick. Huh? Speaking of rock and roll.
Next question. These fucking chickens.
We've got another one here from Terry.
Are you serious?
Do you see Spurs?
Honestly,
mix it up.
You honestly
the
could have.
variety of the questions.
You definitely could have just faked different names. You got fucking 40 questions from Terry and 40 from Paul. For fuck's sake.
Yeah. How do you know which Terry we're talking about?
Oh, don't worry. I've heard about him. Don't worry.
Anyway, Terry Anonymous. We don't know which one that is.
Just say a different fucking name.
Terry McFlynn.
Different first name, you fuck.
Terry McFlynn, what did he say?
Terry McBin. I'm sweating. It's too hot in here.
What did Terry McBin say, hey? Get it out.
They got two serious questions as well. We got
serious one.
left.
Serious one.
Guys, do you see Spurs winning something this season?
Obviously.
Given Liverpool and City will win the Premier League and Champions League.
Sydney FC. All right, well, we lost Adam, so guess I'll answer the question.
Yeah, well, do you see Spurs win something this year?
I see them winning something every year,
Yep.
James and Adam.
Your dreams.
But unfortunately, it hasn't happened for many years. So, no, I reckon, I don't know, I've just got a feeling Arsenal have a better chance of winning the treble than Spurs have of winning one trophy.
You're doing all right in Europe. Doing all right. Consistent. You know, it's a bit like it's just not consistent. That's the only issue, right? The first half's the bad part. You finish the game well, but it's just, I think it's the cheap goals that maybe let in. But it's just the way Ange plays, right? It's just... It
is cheap goals. That's the unfortunate thing, right? Because we've only conceded 11 goals this year. When I say only, it's the same number of goals that Arsenal have conceded in the Premier League. And they've got the best defence in the league. They've got the best defenders in the world, right? So...
In the universe,
right? So we've only considered 11, but we're just going to make sure that we keep on scoring. That's our biggest problem, because there has been games where we've either left it late or we've struggled, but we've created chances that we haven't, or we've dominated possession or field position that we haven't converted on. That's been the biggest problem.
Yeah.
Let's go.
But Adam, do you think? Do you agree with his claim that Liverpool are going to win the league?
Champions League?
It's really
Both.
Positive now, but like obviously first in both leagues at the moment. But that's, fingers crossed, knock on wood, no injuries so far. And if it is, it's one or two, and those positions are covered pretty much. So it's more like last year if it happens, and it's 3 to 4 players out, like Arsenal has at the moment. So it's you're just riding on that, but it's a lot of games, and the schedule is pretty hectic. So. But at the moment, it's positive signs, and I think Slot's come in and done a really good job, to be honest. So
yeah, if Liverpool go on and win the league, Jurgen Klopp is a fucking fraud. He's a fraud. He's got no idea.
He was too tired. He was too tired. But what do you think of the new Champions League format?
It's hard to tell now. I reckon wait till the last maybe 2 games, because they play 8 games, I think. Right now, it's just kind of like another league, because I know 8 games isn't a lot, but it's still a lot more than 6, where you can lose your first 3 games and still make it out of call it a group, but out of the group comfortably. Where if you did that in the old format, forget about it.
But didn't that make the games a bit more intense, a bit more edge of your seat? In the old group stages?
The old group stage, yeah. I think so, yeah. At the moment, I would say I like the old one.
Because I haven't really had that feel.
I can't really judge it, because it's not even halfway through the group stage yet.
Because, like you said, I think it's going to be absolute chaos come those last 2 rounds of this league's format before the knockouts.
It kind of feels like what they were trying to do with the Super League. Was it? What they calling it Super League?
It is.
Yeah.
It pretty much is. They're trying to meet in the middle, going, well, we're not going to do a Super League because of all the protests against it. And again, I agree there should not be a European Super League. We'll leave the leagues as they are. But they've obviously seen some value in it, and they've gone, we'll go with this. But I think, these first few games have felt like, well, I mean, the top 16 can get through out of, it's not...
Sorry.
I was going to say, in the group stage, the first few games really do matter. So you're on the edge of your seat every time. It's do or die, even before the group stages. Before the knockouts.
Yeah, like those massive results this morning. And if that was in the old format, that would make the groups so interesting. Because if you don't finish first in your group, there's a very good chance that, all the teams in Champions League are good teams anyway, but finishing second in the old format compared to first is, a huge disadvantage. Yeah. So
you can already tell now that teams,
today,
teams are starting to play weaker squads as well, though, already. And what is it? How many games have been played? 3?
3 or 4.
Well, that's because they probably they consider themselves safer.
Yeah.
So, I think it's lost a bit of that shine. Again, once it gets to the knockout stages, it's going to be business as usual, right? That's fine. I think once we get to the final 2 games, I'd say, of this league format, it'll be chaos. It'll be unreal. Yeah. But I think it's a waste of time all these other games leading up to it. I think you should just have the edge of your seat kind of intensely from the start.
home and away against the same team.
It's the Champions League, man. Dilly ding, dilly dong. They're in the Champions League.
Have to wait and see.
So, wrapping it up, we've got a final question from Jurgen. Jurgen wants to know what has been your favourite episode of The Coach's Son so far?
Wow.
Do you want to split
That's
up?
a good question, you know.
Coach's Son, favourite episode of Coach's Son, and favourite episode of Parks the Bus.
Yeah.
It's huge. It's so many.
There's been a lot.
44?
This is our 44th episode.
Illegal.
We've just cracked over 12 months of The Coach's Son. I've got a favourite episode. Sorry, Steve, I don't think you were in this one, but when we did the...
That's my favourite one.
That's why it's funny.
It was when we did the top 10 sporting events.
That was
I think most watched sporting events ever.
No, most was for
didn't.
that year or something. I think you're.
Was it that recent year, or was it the top 10 watched? Anyway?
Yeah, most was.
Whatever.
must have been really
I
good.
think it was that. Yeah,
No, it's
good
an
laugh.
episode. Wow.
I think so. It was fun. Like, it was just because we didn't really know.
Well,
it was a
what-
shock. Some of them were a shock to me. Anyway,
Check
it was
the-
like it
check
was
the
just
ratings,
after the
Check the
Super
ratings. I
Bowl.
don't think they were that good.
I think one of my favourites was probably the music one. Picking all the football songs. Making a playlist which you can find on Spotify.
Yeah.
It's funny. That was
Honestly,
hilarious. Took you
what
down
comes
memory
to
lane,
mind?
that one.
What comes to mind? I'm going to mention his name again.
Again.
Mr. Peter Pan. I think you were overseas at the time, James, beginning of the year, and we were having some massive technical difficulties.
Oh, yeah.
And I couldn't hear Adam on one of the episodes.
Yeah.
Honestly, go back and listen. You have a laugh because we're so professional now.
We are. We're absolutely. All right, so Coach's Son Parks the Bus. What's been your favourite interview so far and why?
Oh.
For me, it was...
Great question, Jurgen.
Oh, Matt Jarvis is just unreal. Like, the chance to sit down. Like, he's obviously our first one, and we've been lucky enough to another Prem player with Ryan, but that was just... some of his stories were awesome. It was just really good to have a conversation with. So, Matt T. Jarvis was my one.
Wow, Steve.
I'm going to go with Fabio. I just thought...
La Fletcher.
La Fletcher. I thought he was a top guy. I mean, they've all been top guys. But just hearing his stories about being at the Chelsea training ground with the likes of Lampard, Ashley Cole, Drogba, John Terry, I thought that was incredible.
Yeah.
And he still owes us a beer.
Yeah.
Does owes a beer. Well, I'm going to go with something a bit different. And it was something... Don't get me wrong, all the episodes I've done so far, I've absolutely thoroughly enjoyed.
10 out of 10.
Of course. But this one was just maybe a 10.1 out of 10. Our mate Del Monte.
I knew you were going to say this one.
Something different. Like listening
Saving
to... Huh?
We're saving it for you. That's why we're going to mention it.
But it was like the stories that he had, like obviously being on the side of the pitch, the people he's interviewed, the insight we got to what it's like as a person in media and football as well, was fantastic. And the way that obviously not only he was speaking to us before and after as well, and giving us some tips and advice and things like how to do the podcast and whatnot. But obviously, like I said, it was a bit different. It's a pay to subscribe information, so we're not going to show it to you. But
I think you guys really related, though, like journalism background. There was a few things, just some of the questions that we had asked and how in depth you both went. I think, you guys really connected on that.
Yeah, but I think it was a bit different to what we're used to. We've had coaches, we've had players. And it was just something a bit different and something from a different lens that we're watching, where you're seeing football from, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's probably why it was really appealing, because if you haven't listened to the episode, go ahead and listen to it, because it was actually really interesting, some of the insights that that we've got, because it's good to see that we're actually getting the different types of people within football as well, like within media, groundsmen, coaches, players, you name it.
Yeah,
we've got it all here.
Yeah, some of the I was looking back the other day. Some of the comments on the groundsman on Cameron's episode were hilarious. People really had something to say. They just couldn't believe how in depth like everything was. Just with it, they just thought it was like, lay some grass and you'd be alright. But the like perfection, and there was some really funny comments actually. If you want to go have a look, it was a good time.
Yeah, we've had some.
You got to start coming to these episodes, mate.
I'm a busy guy, man.
Jesus, you got
to
go all around
without him.
Don't worry. All around Europe.
Don't worry.
More likes, subscribers. What else do you want from me?
Did you get to see Ange?
He saw me.
Did you tell Ange?
He saw me on the pod.
You got a few photos of some players, didn't you? Some ex-players?
I did.
We'll put them up on the socials.
Yeah, send them to me. I'll put them up here.
Yeah.
Right now?
Absolutely.
Who did you meet? Give me some names and I'll check them up.
Now.
You'll see, man. Right. Level one.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I've actually thoroughly enjoyed this episode. We've had a few chickens. We've had Elvis. We've had a few different types of conversations.
A bit like this one. We've had it all. We've had it all.
This has been my favourite episode.
We're back. We're
season back.
Season 2. As you can tell, we're right on top of everything.
Season 2. We're not doing seasons. Relax.
20 pigeon size for Charleston's.
It's gonna be a solo podcast soon. It's me and Peter.
Listening. See you next time.
See you next time. Like and subscribe. Adios. Ciao, Bobby.
This was not meant to happen.